for looking at me. If I can ask you the questions that I ask you, if you can put the question into the answer.
Okay.
So if I say, what is your name? You say, my name is. And
Sure.
Is that okay?
Right.
Perfect. You want that in the background? Okay, so will you speak?
Yes.
Okay, so for the purpose of the edit, could you tell me your name and your position, please?
My name is Asfaw Kumssa. I'm the coordinator of UNCRD Africa office in Nairobi. UNCRD stands for United Nations Center for Regional Development.
Okay. If you could just explain, let's start by talking about a little bit about the conference and why it's so important to bring everybody together, including your organisation, in one place like this.
The conference is very important because it covers a lot of issues. It covers environmental degradation, it covers health, it covers agriculture, it covers conflict. Tomorrow I will be presenting a topic on environmental degradation and conflict in northern Kenya in reference to Somali refugees who have fled Somalia after 1991 collapse of the government, which was caused by the conflict within Somalia, and who were forced to come to Kenya to seek refuge.
Okay, I just want to talk generally about conflict before I move into Somalia. That's okay. So we talk this question will be generally about how conflict affects health, and then we'll talk more about Somalia. So just explain to me some of the things that you see the impact of conflict, of natural disasters, and the impact that has on health.
Conflict is a major problem in Africa. You know, conflict is what is really destroying Africa. We have countries such as Democratic Republic of Congo, which is rich in natural resources, and because of conflict, they are poor. We have...
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Okay, so...
Okay, you're still rolling?
Okay, we'll ask you the same question.
Okay.
Explain to me how conflict has an impact on health.
Conflict is a major problem in Africa. Conflict affects not only health, but overall economic development in Africa. We have countries such as Democratic Republic of Congo, which has everything like gold, diamond, timber, and everything, but because of conflict, you know, Democratic Republic of Congo is an underdeveloped country. Take Nigeria also. Nigeria is, you know, one of the largest oil-producing country, but because of conflict, Nigeria still imports oil. So conflict is a major problem, not only in the case of health, but in the case of all development-related issues.
Okay, and obviously lots of people around the world get displaced, and Somalia is one area where that has happened recently. How have you seen displacement affect not just the people who are being displaced, but the countries where they're going to?
That's a good question. You know, in the case of Somalia, since 1991, when the Said Barre government collapsed, many Somalis fled to neighboring countries, including Ethiopia, Djibouti, but mainly to Kenya. And 500,000 refugees are hosted in northern eastern part of Kenya in a refugee camp called Dadaab. And because of this influx of a large number of people, the environment is degraded, and there is conflict between the host community and the refugees because they are competing over scarce natural resources such as water and pasture.
And that obviously has an impact on the health of the refugees, but also on the people where they're going to.
It does indeed, because you know, when you have a large number of people moving to a one area, there is congestion. There is also health problems related to the provision of water, the provision of health services, which is not adequate, and at the end of the day, both the host community and the refugees suffer from health problems.
I'd like to ask you a question about the Philippines, because you have a lot of experience of displacement, and okay, it's not conflict, it's a natural disaster, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, up to millions of people have been displaced from their homes. What impact do you think it's going to have, and how do you think it's going to move forward and get better?
The disaster is most probably induced.
Did you say the disaster in the Philippines?
Yeah. Okay. The disaster in Philippines most probably is induced by climate change, which we really need to address both in Africa and Asia. And this disaster is going to affect the Filipinos both in terms of health, in terms of shelter, in terms of all service delivery. And therefore, the government of Philippines, as well as the international community, should get together and assist the Filipinos to come over this problem. But in the long run, we need to address the root cause of the problem, which is climate change.
Okay, and just one last question, if you don't mind. We've heard from a lot of people today. You know, a lot of information has been exchanged between the different disciplines. What would be a good outcome from your point of view and the regions that you work in? How would you want to influence policymakers to change how they think about health?
Basically, when we look at the challenge of health, we need to look at the problem from a multidimensional perspective. Health alone cannot be addressed without addressing poverty, without addressing environmental problems, without addressing climate change, without addressing international foreign aid, and so many other factors. So when we look and talk about health, we have to talk about and look at it in a very multidimensional and comprehensive approach.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to
Good
meet
luck
you,
with
sir.
the conference and
Thank you
safe
so
journey
much.
back.
Is it possible to get the copy of this one?
I'm going to send everything to Jill.
Okay.
And Jill is my client, so I must bow to her.
Okay.
Whatever she
Jill,
wishes.
is